Hello guys and welcome back in this new video where we're going to talk about vector in C++. Vector is a dynamic array, very efficient. They can provide bound checking. They can also use lots of cool functions like sort, reverse, find and more. How to declare a vector? First of all, you should always include the vector preprocessor on the top. Do not forget this in order to use vector, okay? Let's take a couple examples here to be more explicit. Let's define the vector character named while, okay? And we're going to initialize this to 5 elements. You can see for this first example that to define a vector, we have vector first over there, and after that we put between the greater and smaller size the character type, or the type I will say. We have the type between the greater and less size. We have the type of our vector. In this case it's a character, and after that we have the name of our vector. In this case it's a void, and after that we can define the size of our vector, which is 5 here, using the constructor method, okay? And finally we have our semicolon. So I did the same for the next one over there, okay? So our vector character for vector character type, the name is voil2, and I've initialized on this one all my voils, and you can see that I put them in a quote, each letter in a quote, right? Single quote on the both sides of them. Okay, so this is another way to to declare or to initialize a vector. Okay, and on the third case here, I am declaring a integer vector named test score, and the size of it is 10. Okay, and on the next one I've defined the test score to vector, okay, and it's a type integer as well, and I just provided by initializing process all the element that my vector gonna contain, okay, okay. So the last one that I've defined here is a double vector which define item, and what I'm doing here is 765.0. That this constructor means that I have a vector with 7 indexes, and every index has a value 65.0. Okay, so that's how you should understand that. Okay, so that's it a little bit about how we proceed with declaration of a vector and so on. Okay, I'm gonna try to make some practice after, but I want to explain you first how everything works with vector. Okay, right. So how to accessing a vector element? To accessing a vector element is pretty easy. You just want to make the name of the vector followed by, in the bracket, the index of the element that you want to access. Okay, and exactly like with an array, you can also use a for loop, as I talk about as I talk about in the previous video with arrays. You can use a for loop in order to iterate on each element of a vector and just display every element contained on every indexes. Okay, so another way that you can use to access a vector element is use the add method. Okay, With add method, for example, here on var2, I can say cout var2 dot add in lowercase, of course, and just provide the element index in parentheses. I can say 0 again. So when I'm saying that, that should run, or that should proceed exactly the same thing that the previous one have proceeded. Okay, so I can do the same for each one of these vector, and I should have the same output. So to accessing a vector, you can use the vector name element index in code, or you can do a or you can using the add method option. Okay, so what about changing the content of a vector element? If you want to change, the content of a vector element, you can use the add method as well through vector name that add the new element index equal, I mean, you can use the command vector name that add element index equal to the new element that you want to assign. Okay, so that's a little bit how it's working. Let's say, for example, that I want to change I want to change the index 0 of my var2. Okay, I'm going to say that var2 dot add 0 equal, before it was a, I'm going to say, for example, that is z now, equal z, and that's it. Normally, if I'm running my program, you're going to see that the final output after this line going to show that my 0 value now is z. Okay, so you can use this option to change it. Okay, you can use this option to change the content of a vector. Okay, so there's another thing. There's another way that makes vectors so special, is the fact that you can change the content of a vector dynamically. Array doesn't allow you to do that. Okay, and for that we always use the pushback option. Okay, it's pretty simple. You just want to make the vector name that push back, and in the parentheses, following in the parentheses, you're going to put the element that you want to push back on your vector. Okay, so it's pretty easy. Okay, I'm going to take the same example that I have here. Okay, if I copy this, let's say that I want to push back a new character on my var2. Okay, I can do that like that. I can make voil 2 dot, and I'm just going to put push underscore back, and I'm just going to provide the value between my parentheses here. I'm going to call it um let's say w. Okay, and that's it. Normally, when I'm going to run my program, after reading this line, you're going to see that I have another w that I've added right there. Okay, so that's a little bit a specification on how you can change dynamically your vector with C++, okay? And it's a specification for vector. It's something that make vector so special uh, in comparison with array, okay? So vector will automatically allocate the required space, okay? Vector is taking, so based on everything that you have talked, you can understand that vector will always automatically allocate the required space, and is taking care to allocate or delocate space for that, okay? So vector is just awesome because of that function, okay? What if you are out of bound? If you are out of bound, I mean, let's say that I would like, for example, to add. Let's say that I would like to add a new variable. Let's say that I would like to add a new variable out of bound of the variable vector. Okay. Let's say that I would like to add a variable. For example, we have a variable which has 4 elements, right? Let's say that I would like to add a variable at the index 5, for example. I know that it's out of the scope of my variable, right? It's out of the bound. Okay. Normally, I should have an error about this because I don't have I don't have any index 5 right there. Normally, I should have an error. Okay. Let me let me um let me compile this quickly. But before that, hold on. See out wire at 5. Okay. Let's compile this and let's try to run this, and you're going to see what I'm talking about. Okay. Terminate call after throwing an instance of standard out of range. You see? So that's because I've tried to change an index that doesn't exist on my vector. Okay. So that's why I got that error. I'm going to run it again without it, and you're going to see that everything works normally without it. Okay. Let me rebuild it right now, and you're going to see that that was the issue. Okay. All right. So you were able to take down that even if my compiler runs successfully, I got an error on the execution process, right? So right now you're going to see that everything should work normally because I've take out the issue. You see? So we have A and A. Okay. So the index 0. Oh, okay. No, I'm going to change a couple thing before to see out before to output it. Okay. Let me do something else there. While 2 at 0, I've defined it to Z, but I didn't see out. I have to see out after that. So I'm going to see out this again after changing this. And while 2 pushback. Okay. Um. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to see out while 2 at index 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. Oh, I index 4 after this. So you should be able to see W. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let's compile this again and build it. Control F5. We have to close this first. Control F5. So you see, so the first we have AA. When I change, I have Z, and after that I have W on the index 4. Okay, so it's just awesome. That's a little bit it about vector. Okay, so if you have learned something new, give a thumbs up to this video, subscribe, and see you on the next video on our C++ series. Bye.